This is the Teddi Tuesday Podcast Show.
It's Teddi Tuesday, Teddi Tuesday, 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 Teddi Tuesday, Tuesday, Teddi Tuesday, 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 Teddi Tuesday Podcast Show. Teddi Tuesday, 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 Teddi Tuesday, Tuesday, Teddi Tuesday, 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 Teddi Tuesday Podcast Show.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's DJ Teddi, and I want to welcome you to Teddi Tuesday Podcast Show. We're the only podcast that do it like this. So welcome to the livest, the dopest, the freshest podcast around. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at Teddi Tuesday Pod, Twitter at Teddi Tuesday Pod, and keep it locked for sports, community, and business. I see you there.
So we all know that the virus is still going on. This is week number 2, just in case you don't know, of Teddi Tuesday going audio. We've been getting the DMs, we've been getting the text message, and to emails. We will return in due time when conditions are better for everybody in this team. So, but until then, you can always check us out on our YouTube, on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, and soon Apple. Right? Okay, cool. So we're gonna be everywhere. So just make sure you stay, you keep it locked. But anyways, we got special guests in the building. Well, I can't say in the building, I'm gonna say on the phone, but y'all get the deal. But anyways, we got special guests. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you give your own introduction. Let them know who you are.
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Patrick Quincy, and I'm the candidate for Fort Bend County Constable, Precinct 3 on the Democratic ticket.
On the Democratic ticket. That's a nice ticket right there.
It is a very nice ticket.
So anyways, tell us about yourself. So first of all, those who don't know that voting, if you don't know, I got to say this, voting is very, very important. If you really want to change your environment, if you really want to change a lot of things, if you really, really want your voice heard, if you can go download a song, you can go out and vote. If you can go and look up on YouTube your favorite artist, you can go out and vote. No matter who it is, no matter who you want, make sure you go out and vote, because when this is all over with and done with, I'm telling you, it's going to be the battle of the politicians real soon. Like, seriously, if it hasn't started now, when this is all over, it's going to be a battle. So, and this is a great time listen to me, it's a great time for you to see who's been active in your community, who is really giving back. This is the test for who you will vote for during this particular time of everything that's going on. So,
and not just voting all the way down the ballot. A lot of times we put a lot of stock into the presidential election, but we kind of walk out of the booth before we go down the ballot to those local elections. And to be honest, those local elections have a bigger impact on your day-to-day life than the presidential election. So I would encourage people to get out there and vote for those local politicians. I mean, you have an opportunity to vote for your law enforcement leaders, your congressmen, your senators. Those are the people that's making the decisions that affect your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I hear that. That's the truth. So, anyway, tell us, first of all, tell me where you're from.
I'm actually originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Louisiana, stand up.
Yes, I am. So I don't have to tell you my favorite football team.
Oh, is it? Just let everybody know. Go ahead.
You know, I'm a diehard Saints fan and a big-time LSU fan. So, I'm sorry, the national championship LSU Tigers.
Oh, okay, correct then, huh? I seen it. Okay. Yam said, boo.
Oh, man.
He's a hater. We're going to talk about what team he likes, but we'll talk about that later. But check this out. So, you're from Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Where did you graduate?
Graduated from Glen Oaks High School. So that's actually the neighborhood. I'm from Glen Oaks. Graduated from Glen Oaks High School. Right after high school.
I did. College, but it's all.
I did. Well, I didn't graduate from college. So right after high school, instead of college, I went into the Marine Corps. So I decided to take a different path.
Oh, that's fine.
So
cool. Let's go.
Yeah, it's just always been this calling of mine to serve in some sort of way. So it's kind of what drew me to the Marine Corps, and after the Marine Corps, what drew me into law enforcement. So it's always been a passion.
That kind of ties in together. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about your experience. We know you won on a Democratic ticket. We know that.
I did.
There's another race. There's another step that you have to take. So those who don't know you or never do a little bit more research on you and just get to know you, what is your experience and how relevant is it to the position that you are trying to run for?
Well, I actually spent most of my career. I started my law enforcement career a little over 14 years ago. And most of that time was spent with the largest constable agency, one of the largest constable agencies in the nation, which is Harris County Constable's Office, Precinct 5.
Okay.
And serving as a supervisor there as a sergeant, what that does is you get a chance to see how a large agency like that can work. You kind of take the good things that you like, you take the bad things that you don't like so much, and you can kind of use that experience to bring that experience to Fort Bend County. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, especially in Texas. So just to keep up with that demand, I think we need someone with experience in a large agency like that's growing at a pace that can keep up with the influx of residents we have there.
Okay. Why do you feel like you're the best person for the job? Particular.
Me in particular, I've always cared about how people are treated, and I lead with compassion. I've always been that way, and I think it's important that our law enforcement leaders are leading with compassion, and that trickles down within your department. So the leaders in that department are what's going to set the tone for those deputies that are out on the street. So when they're out there making traffic stops and they're out there, working, doing crash investigations, the way their leadership is ran at that department will dictate the way they treat those citizens on those stops. And you need a leader that's going to hold those deputies accountable if there is mistreatment, not just brush it under the rug. And that's a big part of what I believe in: transparency in our agency and treating people with respect. It's big for me, and because it's big for me, it's going to be a priority for me. And we have to have leaders in law enforcement that'll make that a priority.
Wow, that's good. I'm excited. Got my vote.
I'm excited about it as well.
I'm really over here listening, so this is dope. Why did you decide to run? What made you say, you know what, I know that there's a need, but I'm gonna go ahead and step up to the plate? What made you want to do that?
Well, the thing about it is you can do a lot as a deputy, or you can do a lot as a sergeant in a police agency, but there's only so much you can do. The tone is set all the way at the top, and it trickles downhill. And at some point, you watch these news stories and you see what's happening in our communities, and there comes a time where we can sit back and throw stones at the TV and wish things were different. Or at some point, somebody's going to have to step up and say, you know what, I can't wait any longer for things to fix themselves. I have to go put myself out and make things happen and make a difference on my own. And if why not me? You know what I mean? I know I'm the type of person that we need in leadership positions in law enforcement. So why not?
Okay.
I can't sit back any longer and wait for somebody else to carry the torch. I have to do it myself.
And sometimes if you want something to change, most of the time it starts with yourself. No matter if it's a community or whatever case may be, it does start with yourself and just having the discipline to do anything that you want to do. So definitely.
And it's not an easy thing to put yourself out there and open yourself up to scrutiny and, have complete strangers throwing stones at you. It takes some getting used to for sure. But, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make some positive changes in the community.
Well, everything great comes with sacrifice, so we know that, and so
It
people
does.
gonna throw a lot of things. It's what you take from it and build with the same things that they throw at you.
Right.
So it's just all about being a mental toughness, especially right now. So,
Exactly.
but anyways, so the footwork. Um, if elected, what are three things that you're going to change
Well,
on the
one of
top of your list?
one of my priorities that I think will solve a lot of the other issues is creating that diversity in our agency, and not just at the deputy level, which we always see. What we don't see is at the leadership level that same diversity. We in Fort Bend County, we live in one of the most diverse counties in the state of Texas, but our agencies don't reflect that diversity. And I find it hard to believe that we can truly serve a community that's not as diverse as our agency. You know, how is that even possible? So one of my priorities is to go out and diversify our leadership, our command staff, sergeants, and have it reflective of the community that we've been called to serve. You know, we can't always go into these neighborhoods and we can't relate to the people that we're supposed to be serving. You know, they never they we can't all our agency can't just be one thing. We can't serve everybody if we're only one comprised of one thing. So we have to diversify it. And to do that, it starts with recruiting and aggressive recruiting, because we can't sit back and just wait for applicants to walk through the door and just accept anything that comes in. You know, we have to be proactive about it and intentional and go out there and find those best candidates, because I find it hard to believe that we don't have qualified candidates from every background in Fort Bend County. We just have to be proactive enough to go out there and find them and recruit them into our agency. And that's one of my priorities. Probably day one is what I want to work on, is getting that diversity in our agency. Another big one for me is I have a soft spot for domestic violence issues. You know,
Okay.
as far as being called to serve in the Marine Corps, I've always had a protector spirit, and I think it's very important for us to be able to protect the people that may not be in a position to protect themselves all the time. So one of my plans is to have a victims assistance liaison and domestic violence liaison, and what that person would do is it would be a officer within our department that would be a contact for victims of domestic violence and assaults. And what that does is when you have to imagine the position somebody's in after experiencing that, you know, they've been betrayed by probably one of the people they love most in this world, and it's a very traumatic experience. And when they dial 911, you know, the response, they don't know who's on the other end of that line. They don't know who's going to respond to that call. And I just think it would be a better situation for someone to be able to have someone comfortable that's familiar with the resources out there that can assist these victims and getting the help that they need to be able to leave these dangerous situations. Because a lot of times people want to get out of these situations, they just don't know how. You know, they don't know the resources that are out there available to them. So we have to be proactive in providing that to them before it's too late. Give them the options they need to get them and their children potentially out of those situations. And I just think it would be a much better situation to have a go-to person for them that already knows, you know, exactly what's out there and what's available to them, that can kind of help with a smooth transition. So it's just very it's very important to me. And also another thing that I'd like to do is expand our community contract program. What that does is it puts more of our deputies into the neighborhoods, and that's actually beneficial twofold, because what it also does is if we expand the community contract program, putting more of our deputies in the neighborhood, it also frees up the sheriff's department to be able to work in the more unincorporated areas of Fort Bend County. The problem is a lot of the constable agencies in Fort Bend County right now, they don't have a vast number of contracts in these neighborhoods, and the contracts are actually funding most of those deputies, so it's not coming out of taxpayers' dollars for the most part. The neighborhoods have the option of paying 95% of that contract to have a deputy patrolling their neighborhood. And I think we have to be able to provide that community policing service to those neighborhoods that make that choice to do that. And like I said, that frees up more resources to service some of those other neighborhoods that may not have the resources to contract a deputy patrol their neighborhood, but now they'll have more resources from the sheriff's office if we're not able to service them. So it's just a few of those things that I have in mind that I want to implement pretty soon after I take office. And actually another,
that's right, you said the right word, you're going to take office. There you go.
Yeah, we have to be intentional and confident in it. If we don't think we're going to win, then we're just wasting our time here.
Absolutely. Now you brought up something really good that's going to lead to this next question. Mm-hmm. Working with the public it's a major part of law enforcement. We know that.
Right.
Then you just kind of mentioned it a little bit, but how do you plan to interact more with the public as a constable?
Well, me personally, I do want to be out there in the community, but not just be out in the community, but open our doors to the community with our agency. So one of the things that I want to do is implement a citizens police academy. And what that looks like is it's basically a police academy for citizens where they can come into your agency. You go through policies and procedures, and they can kind of get a feel of how your agency works and how law enforcement works. Because I feel like if you do that, you kind of open the doors and people kind of have a better understanding of how the agency works and how law enforcement as a whole works. And when people have a better understanding, they'll be more comfortable with the agency.
Education.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said education. The more people know, the more they're aware, and it just opens up the door to just better mindset with police officers in general. And
not just the Citizens Police Academy, but also a Youth Explorer program. You know, we want to reach out to the youth in our community too. It's a similar program, but this is for, the youth in our community. We want to encourage people and have our youth be able to kind of look at our agency and encourage them to, growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, I didn't have a lot of friends that went into law enforcement, and we kind of had a preconceived notion on law enforcement growing up. I grew up in one of those neighborhoods. So the only time we really saw law enforcement is when somebody was in trouble. So I just think it's important.
I think that's a lot of people, but absolutely.
Right. So I just think it's important for our youth to be able to see our law enforcement and us be accessible to them, encourage them, because they're our leaders for tomorrow. I'm not going to be constable forever. Somebody's going to take my place at some point. And it's going to be those kids that we reached at a young age that grew up, and we gave them exposure to law enforcement. And hopefully the longer we go, they'll be leading these agencies the right way because we've set that example for them. So just programs like that where we can invite the community into our agency, and open our doors, because I have a vision of working together with the community to keep us safe. It's just not about us. We're only so many. I think we can be more effective if we do it together.
Absolutely. So to those who are listening right now, get your pen, get your paper, get your iPad, get whatever you can get, scratch paper, whatever. What would you like to tell your voters or soon to be voters or potential voters right now?
Well, I just want them to understand how important it is to get out there and vote. And like I said before, to vote all the way down the ballot, all the way to the bottom. We have a unique opportunity, and I want the youth to understand the unique opportunity they have. When we're watching these news stories on the line and we feel helpless, that nothing's going to be done, we see mistreatment, of our youth and we see mistreatment of our people and we don't feel like we have a voice and nothing's going to be done, well, guess what? We don't have that excuse anymore, because your vote, you get to vote for the law enforcement leader that's going to hold those deputies accountable when there is mistreatment out there. You have that opportunity in November to get out there and make your voice heard. So it's no longer acceptable to sit on the sideline and wait for it to happen. By you going out there and casting your vote for the law enforcement leaders that are going to be taking care of your community and your county, you have to understand the power in that. You get to vote for your constables, you get to vote for your sheriff. And it's very important because in Fort Bend County, especially in Precinct 3, a lot of our area is unincorporated. So the only law enforcement you have is the constable's office and the sheriff's department. And you literally get to walk into a booth and vote for who's going to lead those agencies. So it's just extremely important for you to get out there. And also what I want people to understand is that I'm only one person. I have a lot of dreams and I have a lot of hopes for this community that I want to do, but I can't do it alone. I'm only one person. So I need the support of the community. I need the support in donations and I need the support in volunteers. It takes a lot to get our message out to the masses and to garner that support. And that's what we need to make it happen, to get me into office, get us to win this election in November and take office in January. It's going to take a collective effort.
Well, I tell you what, Teddi Tuesday, if you need us, we love volunteering for the community. That's something that's always on our to-do list. So just let us know.
I appreciate that. And
fundraising events, we can also help with that as well. Anything positive for the community. I mean, we're right here in Fort Bend.
Absolutely.
So we have a team of 11. So we're definitely down to work and we love what we do. So we definitely go spread the word, but we're here to volunteer, and wherever you may need us, just hit us up. You know how to hit us up.
I appreciate it.
And
thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Also, real quick, so those who are listening, they'll know how to reach you. If they want to donate, they want to volunteer, or they just want to know, hey, what's your next move so we can be there? I know a lot of things are going on right now, so of course it's limited. We get that. Right. But it's not always be like that.
Right.
So what is what is a good way to contact you? Social media, your email, or what?
Well, you can visit my website at quincyforconstable.com. That's Quincy, the number 4, constable.com. Subscribe to our website, and there are donation opportunities on there as well as volunteer opportunities. So you can click on the tab and register as a volunteer. You can donate right from the website. Also follow us on Instagram at Quincy for Constable, Quincy, the number 4 constable, and also on Facebook, also Quincy, the number 4 constable. So any of those 3 ways you can get a hold of us, and I always respond.
Okay, awesome. Well, we want to thank you for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. Matter of fact, I got informed today, so that's really good. And we look forward to possibly partnering up with you later on. All this crazy stuff is gone away. Oh, yeah. We look forward to it. So we got a lot of work to do. So we do appreciate you being on the show.
I appreciate you having
me.
And we
wish you. Before we leave, I want to thank the entire team, those who are away remotely, and I have some actually in the studio with me to make sure that the sound is good, to make sure a lot of things behind the scenes are operating at 100%. Just in case you don't know, Teddi stands for to enhance, direct, develop, and inspire. That's why it's Teddi Tuesday every single Tuesday. So we appreciate everyone listening. Make sure you follow us on YouTube at Teddi Tuesday Pod TV. Instagram, Teddi Tuesday Pod, Twitter, Teddi Tuesday Pod. Our website is www.teddituesdaypod.com. Now, no one does a podcast like we do. Tuesdays are the new cool days because of Teddi Tuesday. Until next time, and to next guest, we'll see you next week.